Thanks, Rob, for that wonderful introduction. You know, this is a really fascinating time for the environmental movement. It's a time when, after years of delay and denial, you now hear more and more people, Republican, Democrat, Independent, all asking, what can we do about climate change? And on that question, perhaps the most serious public policy issue that we face, together with terrorism, you're not just pondering or wondering about the answer, you're actually out there doing something. You're leading the charge. I want to thank Harvard University for hosting this conference. And I noticed, reading through the brochure, that you have an incredibly extensive agenda covering an unbelievable amount of ground. I salute you for putting so much time and effort into planning such an impressive schedule of events. And for those of us who live here in Boston, we all expect you to be appropriately inspired by your dinner at Fenway Park tonight. I know that you have all sorts of people who are represented in this group that have gathered. Many who are involved in the management of energy on a campus, some who are architects, some maintenance staff, and so forth. There's a broad cross-section. And I want to thank each of you for the work that you're doing. Every day, the members of the International District Energy Association are actually putting smart energy policies into practice. You know that when you want to reduce our energy use, the place that you start is with efficiency, the low-hanging fruit, if you will. It happens to be the fastest, cheapest, most effective and available way that you can move today to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. And there are just unbelievable numbers of people who aren't aware of that. Brick by brick, building by building, you've been showing the rest of us how you can get this job done, and you've captured many of the possibilities. And the stories of success in this effort are growing, and they're powerful. Let me just say one quick thing about that. I recently was in Dallas, Texas, and down in Dallas, Texas Instruments has a major plant, their headquarters, and they were thinking of moving to China. And the reason they were going to move is all the reasons that companies pick up and leave today. Cheaper resources, cheaper power, cheaper labor, less environmental regulation, and so forth. Well, the workers obviously hated the idea that their jobs were going to be taken and that the company was going to move. So they engaged the management and they said, look, you know, if we can show you how you could stay here and make money, would you consider it? And they said, yes. They got Amory Lovins from the Rocky Mountain Institute to come down, and together they made plans for a different kind of plant. They took one floor, one story of the building off, and they made it a two-story building. Instead of pipes that are bent and crooked and moving all through the building that take more energy to move the fluids, they built straight-line design. They used new green products and used climate control and other techniques in order to adjust the heat and management of the building. And so in the end, they were able to build a plant that could stay there, keep 88,000 jobs, provide $14 billion to the economy, and most importantly, in terms of the decision they made, net $3 million each year to the business, to Texas Instruments. That's the example. I don't know how many of you have traveled. I can remember, traveled to the Far East or recently to Europe, but you walk out of a hotel room and it's dark in the hallway when you walk out, and then the lights go on as one person moves through, and they're going down behind you as you leave and up in front of you as you arrive. You get into an elevator to go down, and the lights go out on that floor. You get to an escalator, you think it's broken, it's not moving. Suddenly you get near it, it starts to move. You go down, at the end of the way, if there's no one else coming, the escalator stops. How many malls, buildings, businesses have you gone into where the escalators are just grinding around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? We are, in fact, the most wasteful energy nation on the planet, and we need to do a better job of doing it. Scientists are now telling us that up to 75% and as low as 45 or 40% of all of greenhouse gases could be contained by moving forward with respect to energy efficiency in this country. And as you know, universities have always served as the laboratories of ideas, every kind of idea, obviously. Universities have been the early adopters of trends and thinking that eventually reaches the rest of society. That's why they're there. That's what we want them to do. Now we're seeing that influence in the greening of campuses, finally. And while in many things you occupy the outer edges of technology and ideas that can and must become widespread across the country, now you're beginning to make this greening effort mainstream. Harvard is setting its own example. The new library building at 90 Mount Auburn Street uses a geothermal heat pump. The former steam plant at 46 Blackstone Street earned a platinum LEED rating and uses 50% less energy than a conventional design would and 40% less water. The Alston Science Complex will include a broad set of trailblazing green building practices. And today, students don't just learn in your buildings, all of us are learning from your buildings. The result of your work has been a powerful reminder of something that's too easily forgotten. When you save energy, you also save money. Green building isn't some highfalutin pie-in-the-sky idea. It makes good economic sense. These investments pay for themselves, sometimes very quickly. The Harvard Green Campus Initiative alone has already cut utility costs by about $7 million a year. So you know where the road needs to take us. Ultimately, our work must extend far beyond our campuses. And that's why a lot of us took notice of your active engagement in the energy bill debate last summer. We wouldn't have gotten that 10% tax credit for combined heat and power systems in the energy tax package if you hadn't spoken up in a way that made it real and made it powerful and tangible for the members of the Finance Committee. And you can't rest now. We still have arms to twist and a lot of eyes to open to earn the support of the full Senate. So I want to ask each of you to reach out to your senators wherever you come from and convey the importance of that provision and the entire energy tax package. With your help, I'm convinced that we can get this done. This can be, really can be, another golden moment for the environment, not unlike the 1970s when I and others first took part in Earth Day and we passed the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Safe Drinking Water Act, Marine Mammal Protection, Coastal Zone Management, created the EPA. All of that came out of activism. So this can be a new period for activism, for innovation, and for America to act like America again, to lead and not follow. And to anyone who says that you can't build the clean, green, efficient buildings of the future, I say just look at what our universities are doing right now. You haven't just helped your university's bottom line, you're helping humanity's bottom line by helping to show the way towards a greener, cleaner, safer future. Just remember, somewhere between 45 and 75% of all greenhouse gases could be contained just through efficiency. That's why together we've got to continue to work to make this happen. Onwards, and thank you.